Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. The National Medal of Honor Museum. Discover the National Medal of Honor Museum and witness real people, real stories, and real courage. All Tech Lansing. Just listen with All Tech Lansing, perfecting sound since 1927. And by SWBC Mortgage, customized solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton and Bobby Belt.
It is week 5 of the 2025 NFL season, and we are live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco. Welcome to the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk, live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. I'm Bobby Belt from 105 Through the Fan. Tonight, we're joined by my teammate Jake Rietma from 105 Through the Fan. As always, we've got the 3-time Super Bowl champion and 6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton here with us. And our special guest tonight has probably one of the fuller trophy cases that we're going to see this year. He won the Walter Camp Award in 2007. He is a 2-time winner of the Doak Walker Award and the Jim Brown Award. 2-time All-American, 2-time SEC Player of the Year, a Heisman finalist, College Football Hall of Famer, former 4th overall pick in the NFL draft, and a man who spent 10 years in the NFL, including 3 with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm talking about one of the most exciting football players to ever touch a field. It is Darren McFadden. Darren, thank you for joining us tonight, man.
How you doing, fellas? I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It's a joy to be here.
Absolutely. Just thrilled to have you here. And one of the things I want to jump into first is I was looking over some stuff, just your background and different things that, your journey to Arkansas. And I finally, it's very rare. This is one of the few times I finally found somebody who grew up with more brothers and sisters than I did. So I'm the second oldest of 9. And it was like every 2.5 years, another baby was coming. And I found out, while looking stuff up, you are one of 12?
One of 12, yeah.
12 children.
So
which number are you?
I'm number 10 of 12. I'm one of the youngest. I have a little brother and a little sister. Everybody else is older. It's 7 boys and 5 girls. Ages range. I think my oldest brother is about 54 or 55 now, and my youngest sister is 31 or 32. So we got a big age gap, man. I got a nephew that's actually older than me. So
Wow.
It's interesting when people would ask us that when we were younger.
I'm gonna get off that right quick, Bobby.
Hit me.
Who beat you out for the Heisman?
So my sophomore year, Troy Smith from Ohio State beat me out. In my junior year, which is the one I definitely expected to win, I was beat out by Tebow out of Florida, man.
Okay, all right, go back to your thing, man. That threw me away with all.
I know, it's an injustice.
Normally, when you say award winning, it don't come with them many awards, you know.
No,
you and Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, both runners up twice.
I think we 2 of the 3 people.
Yeah.
I think it's only 3 people that
They need to give
an
award for that. Then,
right?
You're on a trivia
It
question.
don't happen often, man. I tell people, it's actually an honor to be considered the second best player 2 years in a row, because you have guys that win a Heisman and then the next year they may come back and may not win one or anything. So to be one of the top guys in college football, man, it's definitely an honor for sure.
So obviously, as things have changed over time, youth athletics has become a more expensive kind of thing. But as somebody who's grown up in Little Rock, one of 12,
Little Rock,
and then getting into being a three-sport star, you played football, track, and then you played baseball as well.
Well, I tried baseball. But I played basketball too.
Basketball, okay. Basketball was the other one that you played. How was that journey like towards getting to the football field and really finding that as a passion as a young man in Little Rock?
I tell people, for me, I guess I think I kind of took to football like right out the bat, man. I started playing at 6 years old. I had older cousins and older brothers that played and everything, so I was around football growing up. And the first time I played, I remember when we were in full pads, I slept in my pads the night before, and I'm 6 years old. It's something I never would do again. Legs all sweaty, feeling and crazy, but it was something I just took to, man. And I love playing the game of football. I tell people I feel like I'm a physical guy. I like contact, and it was just one of those sports I just took to right off the back.
See,
hold on. You outran everybody. I was talking about physical.
I was gonna say that must have been a miserable existence for a guy that loves contact, being able to run 4.2 and just.
It's always funny because when I talk to people, that's what they will always bring up, me being fast and being able to run around guys. But, if you've actually watched me play and everything, people would say that, I'm a physical guy, man. I'm not going to shy away from the contact. And it's something I took pride in. My dad always told me as a kid, you want to punish the tackler. And so that's something that stuck with me as a kid. He's one of my biggest critics, man. And so he definitely instilled that into me to just, run hard.
You grew up in Little Rock, obviously, like we just talked about there. You were a big recruit. You were one of the guys that everybody recognized, right? This is somebody who's going to be an immense talent. I know you got recruited by other SEC schools and had other opportunities. Was it just always a no doubt about it, like, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to the Razorbacks, and everybody else is wasting their time here?
It was hands down for me. Growing up in Little Rock, I grew up in an environment that, my thing, I wanted to just get away from that environment and go to school. I didn't have any plans to become this big mega football star or anything like that. I just wanted to get away from the environment that I grew up in, be able to go to the University of Arkansas. Grew up a Razorback fan. Growing up in Arkansas, that's our professional team right there at the University of Arkansas. And so just growing up there, I remember as a sophomore, I was offered by the University of Arkansas. And so came around my junior year before my season started, pretty much just talking to my high school football coach. He was telling me, man, if you know you're going to go, there's no point in wasting your time or wasting anybody else's time. I had been talking to Alabama real tough. They had a running back coach at the time. Sparky Woods was the running back coach, and he would call me, and I talked to him a lot. And, I finally had just told him that, man, I'm committed to Arkansas. This is where I'm going. So I committed right before my junior season, and I never wavered from it.
That's pretty awesome. We're talking with Darren McFadden here on Cowboys Crosstalk, and you brought up your siblings. I told my younger brother on the way here, I'm talking to Darren McFadden later today, and he said, you got to tell him he was responsible for my crash outs on Xbox because we'd be playing, and I'd be playing with Arkansas, and I'd pull a spin move or something like that. And back then, video games were just kind of getting into it and everything. And now, guys make money on the video games and everything. But did you ever play, with your teammates, roommates when the video games were just getting started? Because you were one of the best players.
It was one of those things. I'm not a big video game guy, but, being in the dorm rooms and things, guys would come up. We would play some from time to time. But I wasn't one of those big guys who just like, I'm getting on here, I'm playing with Arkansas, I'm gonna do Darren McFadden running Wildcat. I'm just not a big video game.
Other people were. I'm telling you, man, that was like one of the quick go-tos.
I love the fact that you just referenced the Wildcat there, and I know that was a big thing for Houston Nutt at the time, who was your head coach at Arkansas. Is that Houston had? I remember this years ago, him talking about getting you the ball that way. Is that he said like, look, we've got to work to get our best players the ball as often as we can. So if I got to put him back there to run Wildcat, like, I'll do it just because that helps give us an advantage. It's like having a 12th player out there. That coming up through that offense and getting the ball in your hands like that, what was that like for you in terms of just the vote of confidence and knowing, like, you've got a head coach here who's, like, committed to getting you the football in your hands and trusting you and the pressure that comes with that of trusting you to be kind of the guy?
I tell people, so Danny Nutt, Houston Nutt's brother, he recruited me. He was a running back coach. He recruited me, and so he would always come to my high school games. He would come watch me play basketball, watch me at a track meet, everything. And so he had seen me. I played quarterback growing up. I wanted to be a quarterback. I thought I was going to be the right-hand Michael Vick growing up. And so when I got to be a sophomore in high school, my running back coach, my head coach was saying that I can either start running back or be the backup quarterback. And so, of course, I wanted to start running back. And so over time, I was still when we go after our senior quarterback graduated, my junior and senior, I would still play a little quarterback, but I was mostly running back. And so Danny Nutt knew that I could go back there and I could run an offense, and he had the confidence to be. So he pretty much pitched that idea to Coach Nutt, and they kind of took that and they had the confidence in me as a player. They gave me full control back there. I was able to make audibles back there, change the play if I needed to, if I saw something different in the defense. And so, but Danny Nutt, he's one of the guys that he definitely knew that what I could do back there and had the confidence in me to be back there. And so Coach Nutt took his word on that, and, we took that offense and ran with it.
One of the most talented, dynamic backfields in the history of college sports. You have Darren back there, who's one of the most decorated runners of all time. You had Felix Jones back there, who was a first-round pick here in Dallas. You had Peyton Hillis, who ended up being a Madden cover guy. Just talk about the talent that existed there. And I've asked Nate this before about the teams that he played on. The idea of just competition elevating you and talent elevating everybody, as opposed to what's kind of the modern NIL era where it feels like when there's a lot of competition, you go, where's my out? Where's my exit? Where do I find something else?
I think for us, just the three guys that we were, I think it was a very unique situation because all three of us, we want to see the next person do well, and we fed off of each other doing well, and we didn't have any animosity towards each other. We felt like Coach Nutt did a great job of spreading the ball around. You got a high hand, you got to go with the high hand, and I feel like that's something that our coaches did great when I was in school. And so I think it was a very unique situation just to have three guys who got along the way that we did. And I feel like in this day and age, it's no way possible that Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis will be in the same backfield at all. And so I really give credit to those guys, just being so open-minded, not being selfish, man. And that was the main thing for us. We were very unselfish players.
You ever heard of Gary Anderson?
I call him the track star, but Gary Anderson Jr., his son ran tracks, but I do know him, went to Joe T. Robinson High School in Arkansas.
Yeah, did you know the big Gary Anderson?
I know of him, yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right, so we are talking Razorbacks here. We're talking with Darren McFadden here on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. We'll take our first break here in just a minute or two. But before, Razorbacks are in the news a little bit this week. There's been a head coaching change. Sam Pittman is out. It's going to be Bobby Petrino filling in for the rest of the year. But there are questions about, who the next option is. We interviewed Jerry on 105 Through the Fan, tried to get his thoughts, and he didn't take the bait. And he's like, no. He's like, NFL does not like us weighing in on coaching changes. But as somebody who's not an owner, are there any thoughts you have on the future of Arkansas football?
I wouldn't say that I have a certain person in mind or anything, but I do think for the situation that we in, for what we've been doing in basketball, what we've been doing in baseball, we got to bring our football program along as well. And so I think we have to make a splash hire, whatever that may be, whether it's a former NFL coach or a college coach or whatever that may be. I think we have to make a splash hire.
Wow.
Somebody who's willing to come into Arkansas and, just make things happen, man.
Very good. We were talking here with Darren McFadden here on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. Let's take our first break of the show. When we come back, we're going to talk about getting to the NFL, being a top 5 pick, and then eventually, after years in the NFL, coming to the Dallas Cowboys and working with a fellow Arkansas legend in Jerry Jones. We're talking with Darren McFadden here on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. We got Jake Rietma, Nate Newton, Darren McFadden. I'm Bobby Belt. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Back to SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
At SWBC, customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. We are live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco. For the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk, I'm Bobby Bell from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, the radio flagship home of the Cowboys. We've got Jake Riepma from 105.3 The Fan with us. Three-time Super Bowl champ, six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton is here as always. And our Cowboys alumni this evening is former Cowboys running back Darren McFadden. Darren, thank you for joining us. Absolutely appreciate it. So we're looking over, we just talked about your time at Arkansas, a huge decorated career, and then you get into the NFL draft, and you are one of the biggest buzz names that's involved in the draft that year. You end up going 4th overall to the Raiders. Walk us through just the experience of leading up to the NFL draft, kind of where you thought you were going to be, all of the process. Did you feel like pretty much slam dunk, you knew you were going to be a Raider, or how did that whole process go for you?
So leading up to it, it was one of those things. Pretty much knew I was going to be a high draft pick. I didn't know exactly where I would go, but I hadn't heard anything from 1 to 10 for me coming out, and so I had the opportunity to be able to go out to New York and experience the draft, have my family come out there, and so that was a great experience. I felt like coming out, I felt like the Jets was one of the teams that took me the most serious coming out. They had the number 6 pick that year, and I remember that they had an amazing offensive line at the time, and so I kind of felt like I was gonna go to New York, and they ended up not taking me, and I ended up going to Oakland at number 4, man, which I had been to visit for him and everything. Lane Kiffin was the coach at the time, and he had called me that morning, like if I'm still there at 4, that they were going to take me, and so when I ended up there, man. Being from Arkansas, I knew a little bit about the Raiders, but I hadn't followed the Raiders' history a whole lot, and so being able to go out there, actually the night I was drafted, the late great Willie Brown, he was there at the draft, and I flew back from New York to Oakland with him, and it was just a great experience being able to learn the history of the Raiders, and it was a lot coming out, being one of the top decorated running backs of my class, man. I got to Oakland, I had high hopes for myself. Got this injury bug that I couldn't shake, man. I felt like every time I started to get healthy, it's like another knick-knack or something. But
right.
I always tell people that for me as a running back, it wasn't I never had anything like a tendon or ACL or anything. It was turf toe or high ankle springs, just things that for a running back that you just can't go out there and do what you need to do. And so, I tell people I feel like I had an up-and-down career out there, man. I'm thankful for the experience that I had out there, being able to go from there to here it was a great opportunity for me.
It's something, Nate, I'm curious for your perspective, too, for both of you guys. We hear a lot from NFL players. I like to ask guys from time to time in the locker room or things like that, just like, hey, what would you say is the biggest thing fans don't understand about the game, or the biggest misconception they have about the NFL or being an NFL player and things like that? And one of the things that comes up pretty frequently is guys who say, like, fans don't have an awareness of just how much work we put into to make sure that we stay healthy, or that the things that we're going through where it's like we're banged up, or there's this, or the wear and tear it takes on your body, and the way you've got to just keep kind of persevering through that. So when you've got the injury issues and some things that are popping up, is that a case of even when you're healthy in the NFL, you're not totally healthy?
It's one of those things from a fan perspective. If they see you out there on Sundays or Monday, whatever day the game is, they assume that you're healthy 100%.
Yeah.
So, but it's some guys 100% at 75 is better than some guys 100% fully, and so you'll have guys who play out there with injuries. But I don't think a lot of people don't understand that, when you see it on Sundays and things, you think it's just a lot, bright lights turn on, but, man, it's a grind and go into it every day. It's some guys that be in the building at 5:30 in the morning. When I got it later in my career, I would be in the building 5:30, 5:45, and just get a workout in and everything, hot tub, cold tub, just before meetings even get started, just to, try to get my body ready and just stay healthy. And that's something that it's a lot that goes into it for sure.
The natural human body is not built to be banged on. And that's what I tell you. You can all day long go play racquetball, or you can play hoops with the guys. All of that, you can do all that. But just stop every now and then when you're playing racquetball and just take off and run into the wall. I mean, just as hard as you can. I'm talking about just one time.
Car accident.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's just a football player, not the one time that you're going to hit that wall. But I'm just saying, trying to give you an idea of these guys back in the day. Now, even today with these guys, they don't hit as much as us, but that's not natural.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's not natural. So when a guy do hit an injury bug and he's a running back, now he's running every day, trying to get past that high ankle sprain, trying to get past that ankle. And then he got to leave there, go get in the whirlpool, go get ice, go try to get himself ready for a game where it's going to be 100 miles an hour. Brother, it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
I would always tell people, they would ask me how long it take me to feel good after a game. I would say from Sunday to Saturday is when I start to feel good, and then it's right back at it
just
again
in time,
on
right?
Sunday. Yeah. So when you have those short weeks, man, a lot of times you hadn't recovered from a Sunday game. You turn around and play on a Thursday, you're still working out soreness, and it's time to go again.
Yeah, along those same lines, we've seen some pretty major injuries in the NFL this season. Tyreek Hill most recently, Malik Neighbors, unfortunately. And a lot is made about playing on the field turf surface compared to natural grass. Now, Oakland Raiders, the Coliseum, you're playing on a baseball field, for goodness sake. But are you as vocal about wanting to play on natural grass as a lot of guys are now?
I think I grew up in an era where, you know, I went out and played football. You know, I didn't speak about whatever conditions were. And I can't really say, because I don't know if the injuries that I've had, I can't say that I correlate them to playing on grass or playing on turf. As a player, would I rather fall on turf or fall on grass? Yeah, I'd rather fall on grass. But, you know, I can't really, you know, vocalize my opinion on that because I haven't dealt with some of the injuries that these guys are dealing with. And so it's hard for me to really give my opinion.
For me, late in my career, that's when I got by my 7th, 8th year, that's when I wanted grass. My 7th and 8th year, but early in my career, I wanted that turf. Yeah. I mean, because it didn't make a difference. I mean, that turf, we had in our mind, we on turf, we fast, we quick. Not realize that the guy that could beat you running for really beat you running.
Now, so I got to know. You played on that old Veterans Field. Was it like? Was
you talking about up there with Philadelphia?
Yeah. Was it as hard as this here?
We should get when 1,000 people come together and get a lawsuit. What is that?
Class action lawsuit.
We should get a class action suit, bro.
Was it concrete? Was it basically concrete?
This it wasn't basic. It was this here. Man, I think one player went over there and blew out both the knees at the same time. Come on, man. That was a death trap, man.
I would ask my dad about that turf, and so my grandmother had is just a concrete porch with that turf over it, and and I would ask him about it. He was like, fall down on that and that'll tell you what it feels like.
Oh my gosh, that's
that was Philadelphia, his grandmama's front porch.
Worse than being tackled on the baseball field, though. Did you ever get tackled onto the baseball?
So it's like some of these little scars and stuff is from being drug on that dirt and stuff, with strawberries on the side of your body. We would play, and so when the A's were doing good, they would leave the grass. It wouldn't be grass; it would still be dirt, and so we would hate that. We would hope they would go home early.
This time of year, playoff baseball.
Bring the dirt out, so they would go ahead and bring the grass out, so we didn't have to play on the dirt like that, man. But
we're talking with Darren McFadden here on Cowboys Crosstalk. Okay, so you spent those first several years with the Raiders, and you mentioned injury problems, a lot of different things that you were dealing with there, and then you end up coming to Dallas after your 7th year. Just talk about the process that led to you coming here, joining the Cowboys. Did you have any perspective about the Cowboys from younger days or once you got into the NFL, and what those final couple of years were like?
So for me, growing up in Arkansas, I was, by default a Cowboys fan for my family and everybody, being an Arkansas guy. But being able to come here, so I would always, the year before, we would always be watching film, and you would see DeMarco Murray on there. He's going crazy, offensive line, open these holes and everything. So I would just see I would watch it from a running back standpoint and see some of the holes that were being opened up, and it was just amazing to me. And so when that off season came and my agent called me and said I had the opportunity to go to Dallas, it wasn't even a question in the world to me. I'm like, let's make it happen. And he was able to make that happen for me. Being able to come here, like I said, I felt like it was I almost started my career over again. I wish I could have came here coming out as a rookie, man, but I felt like God put that plan together, and it was the time for me to come here when I came here in 2015, man. I was able to come in. We had a bunch of injuries on the team that year, man, but we had a healthy offensive line in front of us, and I tell people that was probably one of the best offensive lines I've ever run behind.
Right.
Man. I remember talking to my dad, and he was saying that talking about Tony being hurt and Dez being hurt, and I was like, man, if that offensive line stays healthy, I'm going to rush for 1,000 yards. So, I've been on plenty of teams that I didn't have a quarterback or a receiver out there, man. So, but to run behind those big guys up there, man, it was pretty fun for sure.
Not only rushed for 1,000 yards, but did it, like you mentioned, with all the injuries and everything else that happened. And that was after the first several weeks. You were not the primary running back. It was Joseph Randall at the time. And things had kind of shifted to you later in the season, and you had kind of become a stabilizing force. Even though there were the struggles there, was there personal satisfaction for you of like, man, I'm playing 16 games. I'm in a spot where I feel like I'm getting the opportunity to show what I can do, and I'm having some success. Was that kind of a struggle at all of like, man, we're having some tough times, but I feel like I'm finally getting to showcase what I can do?
I can tell people, for me, from a team standpoint, it was rough, but for a personal feeling, it was a great feeling for me, just being able to, just kind of shake off all this talk I've had about not being able to play 16 games and this and that, and just going out there and actually showing people that what I could do, man. It was a great feeling for me for sure.
Now, there's a lot of people who admire Darren McFadden, the football player, but I know there's a lot of people who also in recent years have come to admire you for your openness and your honesty about some of the struggles you had post-playing career. You just passed, I know, a 2-year anniversary a few months back of your sobriety.
Right.
And so just talk about how that came to be, some of the issues you had post-playing career and celebrating that milestone recently and how big that's been for you.
So you go from every day pretty much on this schedule, doing this, doing that, and, that's what I was doing. And when I wasn't doing that, I turned to, just pretty much drinking. And I was drinking. I wasn't playing football anymore. I didn't have a schedule. Me and my wife didn't have kids at the time. And so, just a lot of drinking going on for me. I got in trouble with the police for having the DWI and everything. And it just kind of started to put my life in perspective, man. It was God giving me signs, and then I turned around, and it was in 2019. I turned around in 2023, and I ended up receiving another DUI. And so it was just like God really set me down and talked to me, man. And so ever since I received that second DUI, 5/18/23 is my sobriety date, man. I haven't had a drink of alcohol since. And I tell people I feel the greatest I felt in my life, man. I can sit down and think clearly, actually be able to be present for my kids and everything. I tell people I was there physically, but mentally, I was just kind of all over the place, and just being able to be there presently, man, and just having a great feeling. I feel like I'm in a great place in life right now, man, and just very happy.
That's fantastic. For both of you, Nate and Darren, I've heard different players talk before about when football's over, how you'll hear some guys say like, you need to make sure you find something to fill that time because it's easy to feel really isolated really fast because football's been your whole life, and to be away from that, it can be a little daunting to figure that out. How key is that, do you think, for guys who are maybe nearing retirement, hey, find something to fill that time productive?
And the bigger star you are, the harder you fall, man. Like it's a star coming from the sky, you skyrocket. You come into the earth quick because you've always been regimented. And Darren McFadden is a name known, so everybody's known you. He can go anywhere and get a drink, like I could. I can go anywhere and get a drink. People want to take care of you. People want to, but you don't have that where you wake up 5:30, go to the center, work out. You don't have that regiment no more. And a lot of times you want to work, but you never work. I mean, what am I going to do? The advantage to now, even though we don't like it as fans, is guys have careers doing football now. Back in the 60s, they had careers doing football, but somewhere the money got so big you didn't have to have that career if you didn't want to, but we wasn't doing the right things. We didn't have a regiment. We didn't see life after football because we always thought it would be there. So when that thing come crashing in on you, and if you don't have a force, a God, a belief, or something to bring you there, bring you back, you can get lost, man. There's a lot of brothers out there don't have this great story like I have, or this man here has. That's a great story. And a lot of people don't even know how to take that. Mm-hmm. Especially if you not have been since you was Pop Warner all the way till you 30.
Yeah.
Regimented. Even during the offseason, you regimented, and that's all you knew, and it's gone.
And that was my biggest thing when I first retired. I tell people I thought I was ready to retire. Like I played 10 years as a running back. I was ready, but deep down inside, it took me about a whole year before I actually realized, like, damn, excuse me, I was like, man, I wasn't.
It's all right.
I'm like, man, I wasn't ready to stop playing yet. And
Right.
So once that time, after this, because like, once I retired, I thought I had a plan. I was like, I'll be able to go hunting, I'll go fishing.
Right.
I can do this whenever I want to, and doing all that, you drinking at the same time, and so you do so much hunting, you do so much fishing,
Yeah.
but you still drinking and stuff, and then after a while, it just become a part of you, and that's what it seemed like to me. And to have a wife and children at home, that's one of the things that made me want to do the right thing to
Right.
be there and be better for them, man. I grew up, like I said, growing up in Little Rock, I grew up in a place. I grew up around gang violence, drugs. I grew up in a family with alcoholics and drug addicts, so it's something that I've seen my whole life. I didn't think I was an alcoholic because I was still getting up every day, handling my business, taking care of stuff. And so I'm like, nah, that ain't the alcoholic that I had in mind from what I've seen growing up or whatever. And so being able to have a family at home and, come back to a realization that you got to be a better person for them, that was one of my biggest things. And it's a blessing for me, man, because I could be, the way I was drinking, I could be dead or in jail or anything, man. So it's a blessing just to be able to be here and be sitting here talking to you guys and be sober and not have to worry about drinking and where I'm going to stop and get a drink at while I'm here doing an interview and all that.
That is fantastic stuff from Darren McFadden here on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. He is our guest this evening. We've also got Nate Newton with us, Jake Rietma. I'm Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about what we saw on the football field this past weekend. We'll see if Darren or Nate has ever found themselves in the middle of a tie on the football field. That's next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Back to SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit getjackblack.com today. We are live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk, which is live on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, DallasCowboys.com, and all other associated social media platforms. I'm Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. That is the radio flagship home of the Cowboys. We've got Jake Rietma from The Fan here, 3-time Super Bowl champ, 6-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton is here, and our Cowboys alumni this evening is former Cowboys running back Darren McFadden. Darren, thank you again for joining us and hanging out for a little bit this evening. So this was quite a game that took place at AT&T Stadium on Sunday. I was talking with both of you guys before and during the breaks and stuff like that. Neither one of you guys ever had an NFL tie or anything like that you ran into when you were playing?
I don't think I've ever played the NFL tie. I played against some college overtime, never a tie in the NFL or anything.
And Nate, you never got those?
I'm glad to.
And I guess that's the thing. That was the biggest thing that I thought. So I'm just there as media. I'm not even there participating in the game. And as media,
so you did play?
No, not even playing. Yeah. getting there at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
And then you're like, all right, you're doing all the work, getting things ready for everything. Yeah. You're sitting there, you're watching the game, you're taking all these notes, and all right, how are we going to talk about this tomorrow? How are we going to do this and that? And then at the end of it, and then it's like, that's 8 hours where now everything that I've been watching and collecting, I can't even tell you if it meant anything towards winning or losing a game either way because it's a tie. So I can only imagine for me how that's – for you guys, just obviously for guys who have never experienced it, how do you think you even process that, though, as a player? That everything we just did, all this battling we did on the field, it ultimately didn't even give us the satisfaction of a win or a loss.
That's got to be a tough one right there because when you walk out there as a player, you're expecting to win the game. You don't walk into a game expecting to lose. So you walk into the game expecting to win. So once you go through all that and get to the end of the game, it's like nobody has won. It's just a tie. I don't know how I would feel walking away from that one right there.
Nate, how about you?
You know, I don't, and I didn't debate. You know, like a lot of people, I'd have went, and I didn't debate that. But I know of me, we need to either win or lose. That's all I know. How you get to that win or loss, you do whatever. But to walk off the field, to put in all that work, like you say, we done put in a whole week of work. Right. Hey, man, especially if you was favored to win, especially if you were favored to win. You, man, what happened? I don't know, man. You know.
And so much of it, when you were standing right outside the locker, I think right at the end of the game, and you could just see guys streaming in. Most of those guys had never been involved in the tie either. Jerry Jones
was upset, man. The guys that I saw were upset.
First tie since 1969 for the Cowboys. So, I mean, this is something Jerry Jones has never been through. Brad Sham has never called a Cowboys tie. This is all very new to everybody.
Wow.
And you watch guys walking into the locker room. Jerry did not look like he was happy with the tie. Brian Schottenheimer did not look like he was happy with the tie. Everybody on the football team kind of looked that way. And I was trying to think about it like, okay, is this different because they just gave up the score to tie? Like if it's reversed, if they're kicking the field goal to tie it, are they walking in there a little bit happier? If things end a little bit different way, are they okay with the tie? But when you look at trying to build off of that, would it just feel a little split? Like almost like I can't even say, well, we did this well and we can build off that, but maybe we need to fix that because it just feels like it was not enough in either direction.
I would say looking at it from an outside in, for a Cowboys fan standpoint, you're down on your defense because they gave up that opportunity at the end of the game for them to be able to get down there and tie it. And on the flip side of that, as a Packers fan, if I'm looking at that, I'm happy about the way that my offense went down that field, but I don't like the way that they managed their clock at the end because they almost pretty much gave that game away pretty much. And so, you know, from a Packers standpoint, I'm taking that positive. And from a Cowboys standpoint, man, I was proud of my offense for going down, scoring with a minute something left on the clock. And, you know, I need my defense to go out there and stand up and, you know, get a stop for us.
You know, I was fortunate enough to walk by some of the Packers players as they was loading their bus. And I was just looking at them, man, them dudes wasn't feeling that. Them dudes, because we know we don't ever want to lose, and we never think of we prepare to win. But you hear the noise, and you know, like, man, if the Packers play their best and we play our best, we may come out here still losing.
Right.
And I'm telling you, man, you can see the Packers. You thought our guys were upset. These guys were stunned.
Yeah.
These guys was. I'm looking at them on that bus, and they were stunned. They had their little bags, their little food bags. And everybody had their little bag. And they just like nobody was eating. Everybody was just sitting on the bus like, yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, especially now there's a lot more point spreads, and this team's favored by this much, and it's just mixed into the coverage. It's just kind of part of the language. As a player, the difference between, I guess, back then, if you will, compared to now, but at the same time, you got to know if you're a quote-unquote favor versus a heavy underdog, how much would that factor into it?
So I was looking at it from the positive standpoint. So right now, coming into that game, if you're favored by 10, 12 points, whatever you were favored as a Packer, you don't want to come out there with a tie. So you're definitely on there with your head hung low, and you're upset with yourself about the way that you played, because no matter what the Cowboys did over there, you know that you were supposed to beat them. And so, as a Packer fan getting on that bus and headed back to Green Bay, man, I'm sad with my head hung low.
And see, on the like Fadden said, on the keep it real, on the keep it real, how many sacks was Parsons supposed to get?
Right.
How well we was not supposed to be able to complete a pass.
CeeDee Lamb out,
CeeDee Lamb gone. Yeah. We know that this kid is an up-and-coming stud, Pickens. Mm-hmm. Double him, take him out of the game. Man, I'm so proud of Jalen Tolbert. I'm so proud of Flournoy. These guys gave what they could give. Jake Ferguson even broke his own record and got a 10-yard touchdown. He broke the 5-yard per catch barrier. But, so to keep it real, that's why I'm looking, and I was so happy because we're doing these late shows, and I'm like, who are these young, good-looking young men? And them the Packer guys. And every one of them, I'm telling you, man, they had their little food bag, had their, they luggage, and they getting on the plane there. Getting on the bus, and each one of them, man. I'm looking up in there like, man, how do they feel? I saw the Cowboys, had that stern look on their face, and nobody was eating, man. Everybody was like, hurt. They crushed, bro.
You mentioned the way that Micah was neutralized. Like I said, Mike was very disruptive, obviously, but they figured out a way to work around it. Dak is getting the ball out quick. Dak is making subtle moves here.
They're
chipping
great
him.
Play when he needed to.
Great play. Absolutely, 100%. And one of the things I saw watching it back, Javonte Williams and the way that he was chip blocking and blitz pickup and the work that he was putting in that. And Darren, I'm just curious about, for you, as somebody who obviously played the running back position, seeing the difference that maybe a guy like Javonte Williams has brought here in Dallas already with the physicality and the way that he kind of, punishes defense with his running style, but also with the chip blocks and just how willing he is to, hey, I'm going to make sure that if we're going to be in this game together, you're going to feel me today and you're going to feel me Monday morning.
Right.
And see, that goes back to me liking the physicality, man. So being able to see that, I love it. If I had an opportunity to tell my tackle, like, hey, I'm going to get a chip so you can set tight a little bit, I love to be able to get a chip on guys, man. So being able to see guys, because I know at the end of the day, when you're out there playing football as a running back, you're going to get gat at the end of the day. And so somebody going to get you, so you got to get somebody when you can. So if I'm able to get a chip, man, I would always tell my offensive lineman, man, I'm going to make sure I stay out for you. But if I can get a chip on you, I'm going to help you out, especially if you got a guy like Parson out there, man. I might line up outside of you over here just to slow him down getting off that ball.
I'm going to tell you something. You watched the Friday the 13th, the Jason's movies and all of that, right?
Sure.
And I just felt like every time, if you go back and look at that film, Parsons was this close. Yeah. 15 times, feel like. And that you just, but on Friday the 13th, you got like you said, you got. You open the door and you walk in. Oh, it's safe, and all of a sudden your head coming off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go back and look at that film and see how many times Dak, or the offensive line, or Javonte Williams got that. Bro, it was some close calls in that game, man. Dak is on another level right now with his field presence, with his pocket presence.
Great,
yes.
Yeah, he is.
I'm curious too for you. I've asked this of Nate before. I've asked this when we have defensive players in here, and you're running back. You just talk about how much you like the physicality of the game. But I always tell the story that there was a coach a couple of years ago here with the Cowboys who told me, like, you have no idea what it does to an opponent when you can just physically exhaust them with the running game. When you can take a toll on them physically, that can be more demoralizing to them than giving up 60-yard scores. It's so difficult psychologically and physically for defense to take. How big was that for you? Could you feel at times when you would dole out punishment in the run game? Could you feel it kind of like sapping them?
You definitely can feel it. You can feel it once you get in the game. You're getting 4 or 5 yards, and it's like, oh, I'm steady getting these 4 and 5. I know it's going to happen eventually.
Right.
So you can tell as a running back, man, and you got offensive linemen, they can feel it like, oh, this guy right here, he's whatever, and so we need to run this again. And so you have guys that once you start feeling that, man, as an offensive lineman and a running back, you love to get those 4 or 5 yards of carry because you know eventually they're going to start opening up, man. And even though on the 2 and 3 yards, you know if you can get a push on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, if you can get that push right there and you feel like you've done it with ease, you know it's just a great feeling as an offensive lineman or a running back.
I would imagine the body language too. You start to see it a little bit, maybe some hands on hips.
Sure,
What were some of the the warning signs, the red flags?
You know you were winning when you get by in the middle of that third quarter and the safeties are complaining. I'm serious. The linebackers ain't gonna never say nothing. They gotta line you up. Everybody,
DB's the first ones.
But when the safeties go to say, "Hey man, make a tackle,"
They're tired of coming up.
Like you say, the linebackers, you know, they gotta be the hard nose.
Right.
They can't
ain't
show
gonna
it,
say
but
nothing, right.
those safeties and the DBs, man, they be the first ones to let you know. Yeah.
Dion and Charles Haley, they used to get into it, man.
Oh, man, I can imagine those.
Dion would be chopping it, man. Come up, man. You supposed to been there on the outside. You're like, man, if you set the edge, we won't have to worry about being on the outside.
Oh, I can imagine with those two.
Oh my God.
All right, let's take our final break here on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk. We've got Darren McFadden here with us, Nate Newton, Jake Riepma. I'm Bobby Belt. When we come back, let's talk about just the decision in overtime. Do you go for that field goal? Do you go for it on 4th down? Do you trust your defense? And psychologically, how a player would look at that moment and how they would feel about it. We'll talk about that next on the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk.
Back to SWBC Mortgage's Dallas Cowboys Crosstalk.
Yeah, check this out.
Broadcasting live from the Cowboys Club at the Star in Frisco.
At SWBC, customized solutions for individuals and businesses are just a click away. Visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. We are live from the Cowboys Club, the Star in Frisco, for the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. I'm Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, the radio flagship home of the Cowboys, joined by my 105.3 The Fan teammate Jake Rietma, three-time Super Bowl champ, six-time Pro Bowler Nate Newton, and our Cowboys alumni this evening is former Cowboys running back Darren McFadden. All right, guys, so we were talking about it a little bit going to break. The Cowboys get down in overtime to the 5-yard line on the incredible Jalen Tolbert catch that you were talking about last segment, Nate. They have a run to Javonte Williams. They pick up a yard. Second down, Dak Prescott kind of scrambles and gets caught from the ankles and basically a no gain. So they're looking at 3rd and goal from the 4, and they end up running a mesh concept, which for people listening at home, it's essentially just think of some crossing patterns that are going on with a couple other things that are occurring. And Green Bay has perfect coverage lined up for it. They're in cover 4 man match, and you're not getting the picks that you're hoping with the mesh there. So ultimately, Dak pretty quickly, it looks like, kind of recognizes where this place toast, throw it out of the end zone as pressure's coming. And then they kick the field goal with 5 minutes left or whatever it is. And with the new rules in the NFL, there's another possession that Green Bay is going to get and an opportunity to bring it down the field. And there was a question after the game about, your defense hasn't gotten a stop the entire second half. Should you have gone for the touchdown and just said, you know what, if we don't get the touchdown, they're at the 4-yard line, they're backed up, they're going to feel a little bit of a press here. But the other line thing, obviously, is you take the points. You take the points, and that's what you have to do in that situation. I'm just curious, for your thoughts as players, let's say you're playing in this game. Nate, you're one of the offensive linemen in that game. Darren, you're in the backfield for that game. What are you guys saying to yourselves in that moment on 4th down? Are you saying, like, Coach, give us a shot? Or are you just saying, we got to get the points and let's trust our defense?
Me as a player, give us a shot. Let's go.
I'd have bet the house on that. You're going to say that.
If I'm in there as a player, 4th and goal, I don't care, man. Just my mentality and the way that I feel with my guys in front of me, man, I feel like we can get those 4 yards. And so let's make that happen. On the flip side of that coin, as a coach, you're still playing to win the ball game. You have a guaranteed 3 points almost. The way the defense is playing, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's a chance that they can get a stop. So you're up by 3 at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm going to go from an innocent bystander, how Coach did it, play it.
Sure.
But you talking about as a player?
Yeah.
We ain't even looking at the sideline. Coach, just give us the play. Because remember, we were the guys that low left.
Yeah.
Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know what we would have done.
You're telling Lynn Elliott to get back on the sideline.
Hey,
you're not coming out here.
Bro, we'll trust you. Hey, and God we trust, man.
That was, and I know we talked about this a little bit before the show, Nate, that your thought on it was, and I think everybody kind of feels this way, you don't really blame anybody for going either way. You don't blame the coach if he says, let's go for it on 4th down. You don't blame the coach for saying, get me the points and let's try to get a stop here. From my perspective, looking at it, I had wondered, and you guys would be able to speak to this really well as players. To me, I just feel like the endorsement in the faith to say to Dak, hey, the way you've played tonight, you've earned this extra shot. George Pickens, the way you've played tonight, you guys have earned the extra shot. We're going to draw some up here, just get you a back shoulder fade, and we're going to see if you guys can just mano a mano outdo them right here and give them that vote of confidence. And then if it fails, you say, all right, they're backed up on the 4. Let's see if we can make a play here. But to me, I just wondered, like, did you put your confidence in the wrong group of, like, let's just take the field goal and let's count on the defense to stop this for us?
Like I said, innocent bystander, whatever the coach said. As a player, once again, we ain't looking over there. We don't work on this We don't work on this in practice.
Yeah.
Coach Johnson don't work on this situation in practice, man. And, everybody looking for that defining moment. Fellas, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, it was an opportunity, but this team ain't built like that right now.
Yeah.
And that's just my I ain't never picked the Cowboys to lose. Never.
Right.
But this is not the defining moment.
Realistic.
Yeah, it's just not.
As we look ahead in the last minute here that we have, bounce back. How do you bounce back after a game like that? Obviously, like I said, y'all never play the tie, but what are you doing here? Are we just saying, hey, let's go up to New York? There's a lot of injuries. Heading in there against the Jets, a homecoming of sorts for Brian Schottenheimer. Does it sound like a good week to probably just run the ball and let's slow this game down a little bit?
Before you even said that, I was about to say, me as a running back coming into it, man, I want to come in there and try to establish the run, man. I want to take some of their pressure off Dick, man, let George go out here and have fun on the edge. Let's run that ball, man. Count on these big guys up front to get us going. And I feel like as a running back, you really can make all the team thrive, from just bringing the energy that you bring. That's why I tell people, like, when I would finish runs, I would see my defense on the side, and that extra thump at the end, it brings a lot.
From Darren McFadden's mouth to God's ears. Darren, thank you so much for joining us tonight. For Nate Newton, Jake Riepma, I'm Bobby Bell. This has been the SWBC Cowboys Crosstalk on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. We will talk to you guys again next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!